Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a new episode of ADT Fishing. Um, in this video, I'm going to talk about jigs. I started, like I said in my other videos, I started getting into fishing about 2 years ago, getting away from just, when I get a chance with, I'll admit it, I still used one of those like Zebco push button reels. I just got away from all that and got into spinning gear, and then later on in the year I got into bait casters. But so I, I bought jigs, and I'd never really used them before, maybe a couple times. But the ones I had started with were bought like I don't really remember the name. They're just the cheapest ones that you could find at places like Dick's Sporting Goods, and that's pretty much it. We don't really have a lot of bait places out here, or tackle shops, whatever you want to call them. So we do go to runnings now, which I don't know if they're really that well known in your area, depending on where you are. But um, out here, they just opened one about 2 years ago or so. Um, so I bought a couple jigs there. Didn't really use them that much. Didn't catch anything, so I said, yeah, I'm not really messing around with this too much, and went back to my comfort baits. And that's something that, I've got to kind of stray away from myself, because you get so caught up in using your comfort baits, you don't use anything else. And for me, that has had a mystery tackle box for a little bit over a year now. Um, that's a lot of baits that just add up and don't get used. So I decided to move away from my comfort baits, um, and I contacted a company that I saw had posted an ad about looking for pro staff. The company is called Cranked Fishing. You'll see me in in my videos. I'm always wearing their hat, um, mostly because I really don't like wearing hats, but I like this hat, so I'm gonna wear it. But um, so I contacted them about being pro staff, and they were happy to let me on board, even though I'm still kind of new to the fishing scene. But so I bought a couple of their baits, and I decided I was going to throw them. I threw them once, and I kind of got in that old habit of saying, you know what, I'm not catching anything on these. I'm not going to use them. They might work great for somebody else, but for me, I'm not catching anything. So why would I waste my time out on the water throwing a jig? I pretty much used that excuse until the end of the year, and at the beginning of this year, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not messing around anymore. There are so many different baits out there, and I'm never going to grow as an angler unless I challenge myself to different baits and harder techniques and stuff like that. So I decided, I'm going to use these baits that I bought, as well as some of the other ones that I planned to buy, and I started throwing jigs. My first bass that I caught this year was on a crank jig. I believe I bought on something kind of like what I have right here today that I'm going to show you. Um, I'm not really good at remembering all the names of the other colors, but I think it was something like hot sauce, or it wasn't quite hot sauce because it's not completely red. It has a lot of black, green, and red in it. But I threw that. It wasn't a huge bass, but I did catch my first bass and broke an unlucky streak of about a week. Um, at that point I ordered a couple more jigs. I caught a few up at one of the kind of medium-sized lakes up near me. Um, Decent sized bass. I caught them on crank jigs, and then believe it or not, a friend of mine that I've kind of pushed into fishing along with me, um, he caught his first ever bass on a crank jig. Um, I brought him up to the lake, and he used very light spinning gear, which he shouldn't have. But he's not into the bait casters yet, and he normally just uses whatever extra pole I bring with me when I go out. So he tied on a black and blue jig and cast this thing out, and had his first ever actual fight with a fish. He's only caught like bluegill and stuff and trout, small trout, that you can just overpower them with the reel, so you don't really have to worry about a fight. But this thing was tearing him all up, and I mean, he's a small as far as short, but he's kind of got some muscles and stuff, and it's funny watching somebody catch a real fish for the first time. So he's gonna watch this video and he's not gonna be too happy. But yeah, it was a black and blue jig, and I believe the fish was about 1.5 pounds, which is decent size for up here. So yeah, these jigs, they really do work, and they're handmade from Cranked, I believe in North Carolina, but they are in the U.S. But they're great baits and they're great people. If you have any issues, you get a hold of them and they'll make it right for you. And they're growing too. I mean, now they've also got soft plastics out there. And I know they did like a kind of a question and answer thing on Instagram a while back, and it was there, people were asking them about different baits, if, hey, are you looking to make this and that, and I saw a lot of things that they said, yeah, they're coming up. So I would definitely look out, because I think these guys are kind of going to grow to a considerable size and are going to have a lot more people out there showing their gear. So without further ado, let me show you the jig that I've been talking about this whole time instead of boring you. This here, like I said, I'm not quite sure what the name of the color is, but this is a football head jig. See the jig head. Oh, the camera's over here on this one. So, yeah, I've caught quite a bit on the football head jigs. I know a lot of people use Archie heads and stuff and skip. I'm not as confident in skipping it, so in pitching, so I just use a football head jig. I mean, I know you're supposed to kind of like drag them on the bottom and stuff, but I feel as though if you just bounce them off the bottom, you'll get just as many bites. On my lake anyways. It might be different on yours, but I have good luck with these. So, I mean, it's a pretty standard jig, but like I said, you can definitely tell the quality of it, because I've had other like store brand jigs that the skirt is so cheap that if I were to kind of pull on it a little bit, it would give way. So, I mean, these are pretty good. You might see that I did kind of modify mine a little bit. I've got some red Sharpie that I put on the head. Normally what I'll try to do to avoid like the metallic color showing is I will use a Sharpie to cover that up. I didn't have a black Sharpie, so I used red. So, but I do think that might give it a little bit more, especially because since I do have like some orangish red on the trailer, or on the skirt, sorry. So I did finally get my first soft plastics through Cranked. Took me long enough. I just, with everything going on with college coming up, I decided, yeah, I'm gonna kind of hold off on all the stuff I'd normally just waste my money on. So I got a green pumpkin trailer on this. This is a craw. They make, I also have black and blue, I ordered that, but they've got all the same colors pretty much that you're going to find on their jigs, on their plastics. And they're scented. They come right out of the package and they reek, but that's what the fish like. So, but yeah, I've used this jig a few times. I've caught a few fish on it. I just got these soft plastics in, so I haven't caught a fish with them yet, but I'm very confident in them. It's just I really haven't been out that long since I've got these, because like I said, I'm about to go off to college in a few days here, and I really don't have time. Everything that I've been doing is packing and working just to get up to the point of move-in day and when I get out there and I actually have to start doing schoolwork. So, but I might have another video coming up on that where I just kind of talk about what's going on as far as what I'm doing going to college, my situation and all that. If you guys want something like that, definitely comment, or if you think, no, that's stupid, don't do it, let me know. and I won't waste my time with it. So, but I want to thank you guys for watching. I know I don't really have a lot of videos yet, and I'm working on getting more out, and they're not really consistent, but I've got a new camera. I got an action camera that I'm going to be trying here. I've been messing around with it for about a week now, just trying to find out how to use it, being that I'm not really that tech savvy anymore. Lot of new technology since, you know, I really cared about technology. But I'm messing around with it, trying to get weekly videos going. So, but if you like this video, um, definitely give it a like. Comment what you liked about it, or another video idea if you'd like to see another type of video on whatever you want. I mean, just you know, give me some feedback. Let me know what you want. And definitely subscribe. So that way you can see when I come out with new videos, and, you know, see what's going on, maybe with my journey so far and all that. So definitely do that. And I want you guys to go over to Cranked. I really want you guys to check them out because I think that you're really going to like their baits. I've tried other jigs, like I've said, and, you know, unless you go out and you spend like crazy money on a jig, you're not going to find good quality. And with these guys, they're really not that pricey, and they're, like I said, they're handmade, and I really think that you guys will like them. So go on over to crankedfishing.com. I'll put a link in the description, and I'll also put a link to their Instagram, because I've been using Instagram a lot, and they post daily, and they're pretty active on there. So definitely go over and check them out. And while you're there, go ahead and follow me on Instagram too, because I do post a lot more frequently on Instagram than I can on YouTube. So, you know, well, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you again soon.